A very good morning to you. Welcome to the West Ham Voice on Monday morning. I hope you've all had a reasonably good weekend. There was no football to ruin it, I guess. Save that for tonight because West Ham play Wolves at the London Stadium tonight in a game that most people are calling the latest El Sacico in the Premier League, with both Julian Lopetegui and Gary O'Neill having everything to play for and everything to lose. If you're new to this channel, please forgive me for repeating myself. And you've yet to become a subscriber, please do hit that subscribe button. And whether you're new or existing, please make sure you hit the like button if you like and appreciate the content. It's got a lot of significance, this game, hasn't it? Because both clubs and their respective coaches have an awful lot to lose. Both coaches are considered to be at the last chance saloon, and either one of them, or maybe even both of them, could be sacked after this game concludes later on tonight. A win for Wolves will see them not get out of the relegation zone, but it will take them to within a point of 17th placed Crystal Palace. A win for West Ham won't take them any higher than their current 14th place, but it will take them to within a point of Man United and 7 points away from a European spot. But Europe is wishful thinking this season, isn't it, really? But most of all, most importantly, a win for West Ham will see us create a 9-point gap from the relegation zone. So the game tonight has huge significance in terms of what it means to both teams. Wolves go into this game having drawn 1, won 2, and lost 2 of their last 5 games. West Ham United go into this game having drawn 1, won 1, and lost 3 of our last 5 games. So the team who are marginally in form, only marginally, are Wolves. And when it comes to goals scored and goals conceded so far this season, Wolves should be there for the taking, as they have conceded a whopping 36 goals, which is the worst defensive record in the Premier League so far. Now, look, if we create even half the number of chances we did against Leicester last Tuesday night, and if we actually put away 1 or 2 of those chances, then strictly speaking, we should beat Wolves. But football isn't designed in that way. And it matters not how many chances you create, but it does matter how many of those chances you convert into actual goals. Now, our defensive record, first of all, is not that much better than that of Wolves. Only 4 teams have conceded more goals than our 27 so far this season. And 2 of those teams currently sit in the bottom 3, which is Wolves and Southampton. But up at the other end of the pitch, the concern of not scoring goals is as big a problem as it is the number that we're conceding. We've scored just 18 goals in the Premier League so far this season, the 5th worst record in the Premier League. And again, the teams who have scored less include 2 teams in the bottom 3, Ipswich and again Southampton. And with Everton and Crystal Palace hovering just above the relegation zone, they're 2 of the other teams who have scored less than us. So our form suggests that we're playing more a relegation style of football this season than football that would get us anywhere near a European spot. And with our next 2 games coming up after the Wolves game against 2 informed Premier League teams in Bournemouth and Brighton, a win against Wolves tonight is absolutely crucial. So what of Wolves? Despite their lowly position and despite their poor goals conceded stats, they've actually scored more goals than we have so far this season. They've got 22 to our 18. And it is their attack that could make a massive difference against us. They've had 141 shots, of which 57 have been on target. That's a 40% on target success rate. So they are creating chances. And for a team so far down the league, their pass accuracy success rate is also not bad, 81%. They're half a decent team, to be quite honest with you. And they have two players up front that will give hope to Wolves fans because between them, they've scored 13 of their 22 goals so far this season. And the two players are Norwegian striker Jørgen Strand-Larsen and Brazilian player Matthias Cunha. Now, I keep trying to imagine if we had both these players in the West Ham squad this season, we would actually be riding high up the league table and would have indeed been challenging for European spots. Instead, we're going to have to put in one hell of a decent defensive display because, regrettably, I can see one or maybe even both of them scoring against us tonight. With Strand-Larsen, he's on loan from Spanish club Celta Vigo, and he has settled into the Premier League with relative ease. He's been compared to Erling Haaland, not my words, before you start having a go at me. He's been compared to Erling Haaland in the way that he plays, and he is an absolute handful. His height and the manner in which he plays is ideally suited to Premier League football. The 24-year-old has got great strength in holding the ball up, and his height, 6'4", makes it difficult, makes it obvious that he's an aerial threat. And his strength also gives him advantage in one-on-ones against defenders. He clearly has an eye for goal. He's scored 6 so far this season for Wolves, so he can be quite clinical in front of goal. Our backline are going to have to do really well to stop him from scoring tonight. And it's surprising in a way that Celta Vigo allowed him to go out on loan, as he was their top goal scorer last season with 13 goals. And I looked at Serie A, La Liga. Celta Vigo is sort of in something like 11th position. So maybe they could have done with his goals this season. I'm surprised that they let him go. Wolves have an option to buy him for around about £23 million, which in today's world would be a pretty decent bargain for a striker who is likely to get double figures in his first season in the Premier League. But that's on the proviso that Wolves don't go down. And with him and Cunha in the side, it kind of won't surprise me if Wolves get out of jail this season and avoid the drop into the Championship. And of course, the other player that I've mentioned is Cunha. Now, look, he's everything to Wolves this season that kind of Mohamed Kudus was to us last season. He's dynamic in attacking play. Well, he can play anywhere across the front line. He's played as a second striker. He's played as a striker. And with Strand-Larsen ahead of him, they're quite formidable. He has scored some absolute belters this season, and he's got excellent ball control and a trick or two up his sleeve. Plus, he's got the physical strength to complement the skills that he has. He's a good link-up player, and he's got speed and agility on his side, which allows him to exploit spaces behind defences. And given how high we've been playing up the high line we've been playing this season, Cunha might relish getting in behind West Ham's defences tonight. Now, dependent on the opposition that Wolves play against, O'Neill might set his team up in a traditional 4-4-2 formation where Cunha and Strand-Larsen can support each other up front, or he'll adopt an attacking 4-2-3-1. He will look to hit West Ham on the counter-attack, and how we set ourselves up will be key on whether Wolves find success or not. I've said on numerous occasions, if we continue to play the high line the way we're doing, we could get caught out again and again against teams that have got pace, and Wolves will relish this game if that's the case. So as for West Ham, what of our stats? Well, our stats compared to Wolves are not phenomenally much better. 206 shots, of which 70 have been on target. So we've had more shots on target, but the percentage of shots to target rate is worse. It's only 34%. They had 40% shots on target. Our passing isn't that much more superior to theirs either, with 82 pass accuracy success rate to their 81%. So whether we like this or not, This is going to be a game that's going to be a lot closer than many fans might actually think. Um, Although an early goal could open the floodgates, but that could be an early goal for either side. So I'm sort of predicting that it could be I think it's going to be a goal scoring game, but I'm also predicting that it's not going to be as easy as people think for either side. So what about our team? Well, apart from Antonio on Todibo and the Todibo situation, we have all players available. But I want to see Lopetegui not only make changes to the lineup, but also how we set ourselves up. I've said it. The defense is severely lacking in confidence right now. And to have conceded 8 goals in our last 2 games is not going to help with that confidence. There are such big gaps between our keeper and the back line, as well as huge gaps between our midfield and our back line. It's way too easy to exploit our weaknesses. Lopetegui needs to get us more compact as a unit with less big gaps between goalie, backline, midfield, and front line. That's not to say that I want us to go back to playing the low block, but a mid block setup will suit us far better. So by all means, push our defenders up. But when we have our defenders deep into the opposition's half, and the minute we lose the ball, we're in trouble. Plus, many teams in the Premier League are now adopting a fast turnaround in games where possession isn't key. We need to move the ball faster as well. And if that means getting the ball quicker to our wingers and avoiding the midfield, bypassing the midfield, then so be it, so long as it's effective. As for team setup, if he's available, Lopetegui needs to revert back to playing Areola in goal for me. I don't think, to be quite honest with you, Fabianski has demonstrated being any better. So I think it would be right to bring Areola back if he's available. But he wasn't even on the bench against Leicester on Tuesday night. And there are rumours that the Spaniard has fallen out with Areola as well. He needs to drop the fantasy of bringing Soufal back as he did against Leicester on Tuesday. Soufal was quite embarrassing against Leicester. He was so exposed. And that performance in itself should tell us that we should be looking for another right back or bring in another right back through from the academy rather than offering a new contract to Soufal. I don't know how true that story is, but apparently there are negotiations ongoing with Soufal signing a longer contract at West Ham. Personally, he's been great for us, but for me, I think it's time for him to move on. So I think anyway, Wan-Bissaka should go as right back, bring Emerson back in as left back. I still don't really understand why he was dropped for the game against Leicester last Tuesday. And Lopetegui has got no choice at this moment in time with his centre-back pairing of Mavropanos and Kilman. And as for midfield, this is where I want him to maybe mix things up a little bit. I want to see Crescencio Somerville start. I don't want to see him on the bench with Bowen on the right. And why not put Kudus in as our number 10? Because that way it will start to give the opposition something to worry about in midfield. If you've got Kudus running at their midfielders and backline, that's going to create a little bit of panic in Wolves. And just in front, I believe, given that Fulkrug has played a few minutes in the game against Leicester and scored a goal, his first goal for West Ham, I think he'll get the nod. It's either him or Ings, and even Ings. And, I'm going to admit to it. I did suggest that Ings maybe should start, but I was wrong there. So Fulkrug should probably get the nod up front. And then just behind, he can go with Alvarez, with either Paqueta or Soler. And I think maybe Soler just might be able to offer just that little bit more defensive cover if needed. Now, I don't think Lopetegui is going to go for that sort of lineup because I think Lopetegui, what he'll do is he'll stick with Fabianski in goal. He'll probably stick with the lineup that I suggested in Wan-Bissaka, Mavropanos, Kilman and Emerson. I think Somerville will be dropped and Kudus will play out on the left again with Bone on the right and then probably Soler in the middle with Fulkrug up front and Alvarez and probably either Souček or Paqueta alongside him. Whatever the team is put out there tonight, let's just hope that we actually put in a performance that's worthy of getting 3 points, but also a performance that's worthy of Antonio, because he's going through a tough time and it's going to be a very, very tough, long year for him. And we don't know whether Antonio will come back. My gut feeling is his career is probably over, but let's see what happens. And, we wish him all the best for his recovery. Also, the fans, we are going to have a big say in this game tonight. And I hope the vast majority of fans have ignored the nonsense of calling out for a boycott of this game. And I hope we turn up in numbers to support the team, because that's what it's about. There are ways of protesting. And if we're not playing, then you can demonstrate your dissatisfaction at the game or after the game, whatever. But boycotting won't help. If there are big gaps in the stadium, that's not going to help the team. And it's just going to create an even worse atmosphere at the London Stadium as it is. We need to be the 12th man tonight. We need to help the team get over the line. And I know people are going, well, hang on a minute, Stel. It's only Wolves. We should be smashing them. Well, just as we saw against Leicester, there's no such thing as an easy game in the Premier League. So I hope we turn up in numbers and I hope we support the team. By the way, no West Ham Weekly tonight. Obviously, I'm going to be at the game. But there will be a roundup of news and, of course, a review of the game on Tuesday night. I'll do a West Ham Weekly on Tuesday night. So do look out for that. Thank you for watching. Oh, prediction. Oh, God. It's a tough one, to be quite honest with you. I really don't. I'm going to go for a 2-1 West Ham win. There certainly ain't going to be clean sheets. I love to think that there will be. Actually, I'm going to go for a 3-2 win because there's going to be quite a lot of goals. So put your comments and your predictions in the chat below, in the comments section below. But thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Like I said, if you're new to this channel or if you've yet to subscribe to this channel, please do become a subscriber. And whether you're a subscriber or not, please do hit that like button. Come on, West Ham. Let's give us something to cheer about tonight. And let's go out and beat Wolves and maybe set ourselves up for the other games coming up. A good performance is as important as the result. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will see you all very soon.